modifying an extrusion that was from the floor up into an extrusion that's from the reference plane horizontally over. So if I looked at the level 1, I see where my column is happening. I would like to double check the location of my model, my column, and also double check the way I constructed it and then change it. So I'm going to go back to the 3D, and I would like to focus on where I was. I was right over here. My column right now is going straight up, and I would like to actually extrude it this way. I'm going to temporarily delete my column. I still have this column in the background so I can actually visualize it. I go back to section where it's just parallel to my reference plane, and I would like to actually compose my column in reference to what I have. I change everything to wireframe so I get to see where things are. Based on the center line, I'm going to reconstruct my column much more detailed, much more accurate. So I would like to create a component, model in place. I go and call it column if you like, and we say OK. It chooses the name column 1. We say it's OK. I want to do a simple extrusion, and since I am in that reference plane, in that section, it allows me to do it. I want to work right off of here. I'm going to offset it. I want my column to be 8 inches thick. So I'm going to go 4 inches to this side, 4 inches to that side, change the middle line, or just leave it alone for now. And I say eventually I would like to put my circle in there. So my rafter is coming here, so I'm saying maybe I would like to actually plug my circle somewhere in that zone. So in fact, I would like to put my hole, the hole for the connection there, or even up higher. So I think it would be ideal if I put it somewhere here. It's much preferred, and move this line from that junction to here. All right, so I think it's a preferred location. I'm going to backtrack. If I moved roughly from this zone back 90 degrees to here, I would prefer the hole to be somewhere within that zone. So I'm just going to move this slightly back down to here, or leave it where it was. I'm going to leave it where it was. All right. So somewhere in here, I would like to make the opening. So I'm just going to make the opening for my circle right there. Right there, it looks pretty good. And I would like to say I can either work off of this as a circle for my opening, and say I like to go 1¼ inch for opening, or maybe 1½ for the opening, or I can go a little bit larger. I'm going to go offset 2 inches for the actual opening. No, that's too much. I'm going to go 1.5 and see what that gives me. Still way too much, so I'm going to go 1 inch. Too much. I'm going to go 0.5. That looks like about the right size. I'm happy. And then I would like to simply draw the line from here. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to, you can either pull the line over to here and do a 3-point, there, there, right there. All right, so that looks like a good combination. I modify it, clean it up, modify it, clean up, get rid of all the excess lines. That's my hole, so that's my rod. I'm going to get rid of that line, this line, and that looks pretty good for my column. And I'm just going to make the column going from there to there. I'm going to let it extrude only 8 inches, so change that to 8 inches. Check mark it. Now I'm going to check mark it again. Go back to level 1, see where exactly it is. It is over here, and I would like it to be at the center. So I do an X, so it would be center of this edge. So I'm going to draw another line here, and go ahead and draw one more line at the center of the column so you can move your column properly. You can go back to wireframe so you can see that line. So I'm going to take that item and move it. I'm going to take off the constraint and move it from the center, and I notice I can only move it in that direction. If you are constrained in that way, because I extruded it that way, I can only move it this way. One way to do it is to copy it, keep the constraint off, okay, no constraint, move it from the center to the center, and I actually made a copy. So now I'm going to get rid of this guy. I go back to the 3D to make sure it is what I have. So I'm going to go wireframe so I get to see it. Yes, it is exactly what I have. So I may decide to then accordingly move my rafters over as well. All right, this is the way I would actually change the basics. You can change it and it looks like this.